Hey, good morning, Sydney Marathoners. We're here live on the main stage at the Expo. Excited to have a little conversation with my good friend, Kelly Willis. She's competing in her fourth time in the World A-Troop Championships, and she's also one of 25 people in the world to have earned 3 six-star medals. And we know that's pretty cool stuff because Sydney is a candidate race, and we're hoping for all the best to come through. This race comes through shining gold star effort by the team they've worked so hard on, and they get from candidate status to actually six-star major status and become number 7. So Kelly, it's great to have you on the stage with me. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Great to be here with you, my good friend. And you forgot to mention that you have also received, or I should say earned, your 3rd six-star, and you'll get your 4th six-star in Tokyo.
Yes. Well, thank you for that. We've been a big part of each other's journeys, along with all the great people in the Abbott World Marathon Majors team, Judy, and all of our good friends, Stewie, and everyone else. And I think one of the cool things about this series and competing and traveling around the world is the friendships that we build, right?
So true, so true.
Yeah, so I basically wanted to kind of start the demographic of this race tells us we have a lot of first-time runners. I think it was as high as maybe 80%. So I want to peel it all the way back for you, Kelly. Like, how did you find running? Because that might really resonate with some of the first-timers out here.
My first race was the Peachtree Road Race in Atlanta, which is the largest 10K in the world. And I ran that when I was 23 years old. Loved it so much that 2 years later, I ran my first New York City Marathon. That was in 1993. I bet you a lot of people here were not even born yet. There was no chip, and it was amazing. And this will be my 53rd marathon.
Oh, that's so awesome. We've seen a hell of a lot of changes. Running back then, there was no six-star series, there was no six-star medal. There weren't a lot of things. Hell, we didn't have gels. We didn't have half the things that exist today. We sure didn't have carbon fiber shoes, but
I ran in sweatpants, let's just put it that way.
Oh, that is just too good right there. We love that. So in this sport, I think inspiration's a huge piece. Somebody out there motivates us all, and sometimes it's not necessarily a professional runner. It might be a cause, it might be your why. But I'm just wondering if you have maybe a favorite professional runner who has inspired you over time that you've been competing, or maybe something else about the sport that inspires you and keeps you going.
I'll have to say a huge inspiration for me, Ron, has been my cousin, who's also my godfather. His name is Doug Brown. He's a 3-time Olympian, also an Olympic coach for 1996 USA team. He also was a coach at 2 universities, and he coached me. He helped me get a sub-3 marathon in Miami and in Spain. He helped to get me several podiums, and I'm so grateful to him.
That's fantastic. So motivated by not only his performance and what he was able to achieve and accomplish, but also working together with you as the coach-athlete relationship, which we all know is so important because so many of these first-time runners out there, they're going to be in unknown territory. And it's going to be a first-time experience. And you really have to lean on everybody and everything you can to get through a race. Because we all know that out there, things can go wrong. So stay positive. Don't look too far ahead or too far down the road, and just kind of stay in the moment. Some good tips to share. But that's great.
So true, Ron. So true. I'm sure we'll get to some of those moments during the next hour.
Oh, there's a good chance we could. I'm curious because at 53 marathons and doing 3 trips of the World Marathon Majors, which includes, for people who may not be familiar with the six-star journey as it's comprised today, that's Tokyo, Boston, London, Berlin, Chicago, and New York, and hopefully Sydney joins that party and becomes number 7. But going around the world and back again, running so many marathons, you have to manage so many things besides your family, injuries, health, nutrition. What keeps the fire burning for you and keeps the passion going?
I just think the joy of running, Ron, it is just, I mean, if I haven't run yet, and it's on any day, you can tell. And when, I have 4 children, 4 amazing daughters, and an amazing husband, and sometimes when things are just going bad, good times are going bad, he says, just get out there for a run. He also jokes and tells my kids, one day mom's gonna go for a run and she's just not gonna come back.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, inside runner joke for all runners, and then for the spouses and girlfriends and boyfriends of the non-runners, they don't want to be around us when we haven't had our run. They certainly are not seeing the best version of us when we haven't had the chance to get some miles in, and we are just different in every possible way. We breathe, relax, our heart rate relaxes. It's the opposite of what you would think, right? Going out and running and covering a lot of miles and getting sweaty, you would think that that's going to exhaust you and wear you down, and it's just the opposite, right?
So true, so true.
So again, with first timers that maybe don't have experiences to lean on like we do from having run so many marathons, I think it's important to just put it out there to people. You're gonna face challenges out there tomorrow. They're talking about crazy winds. The days before they were talking about rain and wind. We don't really know what tomorrow's going to bring. That's the beauty of this sport. That's the beauty of marathoning. We never know what's gonna get thrown in our path. Okay, and that's just what makes it a challenge to make it 42.2K with those particular challenges, right? So when things get hard out there for you, do you lean more on mantras, your breathing maybe, your why? Like what are some things that you personally lean on a really challenging day?
Before I answer that question, Ron, why don't you answer that question? I want to hear what you have to say. What keeps you going? You've run 62 marathons, I think?
This is 82.
I mean, 82. I'm sorry. 62, 82. Once you get past 10.
Yeah.
Tell me what keeps you going. You've run some tough ones.
Yeah. I think one of the secrets of life and running, because so many of our running lessons apply to life, is we tend to look too far down the road, and when challenges seem so big and the hills seem so high and the obstacles seem so unattainable, then we can just get down and get fatigued and think, how could I possibly do this? I had the all-time blessing of hosting a conversation with Dick Beardsley, the great Boston Marathon runner who had the book written about it called The Duel in the Sun in 1982, competing against Alberto Salazar on an 85-degree day. The two of them didn't drink any water. Gatorade didn't exist. There was no gels. And they broke away from one of the most competitive elite fields in history and raced shoulder to shoulder for 26 miles. And they were coached by the same great coach. And Dick Beardsley was so exhausted and so worn down because every time he'd put a move in on the hills, heartbreak hills, going down the hills, he kept thinking, I could shake Salazar and he would be right there on his shoulder breathing. And he just couldn't do it anymore. He was ready to crack. He was literally ready to walk off the course. And what he said to me on the stage that day has stuck with me forever. He just said, I don't have to run another 4 more miles. I don't have to beat Alberto Salazar. I just have to go another block. I have to go another half a block. I have to get up to the next hill or the next corner, make my coach proud, make my dad proud. I don't have to finish. I just have to go a little bit further. So instead of it being the finish, the time, the win, he moved it to a small place up the road. So physically, when you're struggling or challenging, forget about the finish of the race. Get to the next aid station, man. Get to the next fan cheering zone, which, by the way, we're going to have 6 epic cheering zones out there tomorrow. Give it up for the Aussie cheering zones, baby. Get to your friends. Get to a pacer. Stop at the aid station, man. Just take a minute. Take a beat. Have a couple of drinks and just thank a volunteer. Recenter yourself and be like, okay, mission is still on. We got this. So thanks for asking me, Kelly.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love your story. I think that's an amazing story. That's exactly what I do. I've run several times Boston and London 6 days apart, and that's not easy. And London, I've had several occasions where it's been pretty tough, and I've had to just lie to myself to keep myself going, and that's exactly what I do. I just say, make it to the next aid station, and then you can walk while you get your drink. And really, it's the crowd. I mean, I've run so many marathons where if not for the crowd, if not for that Boston crowd, that New York crowd, the London crowd calling my name or saying, go Pigtails, it's the crowds, and so many of you out there right now are part of the crowd. You're the one who's the support group. You're the one cheering, not you're only the person that you came with to, for their race, but you're cheering on people you don't even know. And those are the people that really, I feel like I'm not even running at the end of some marathons. I feel like it's the crowd carrying me.
That is so great, Kelly. Wonderful shared experiences, and the crowd, the volunteers, engage them, man. They're sitting there, believe me. Aussies are fired up people, man. And you run by them and give them the business and start to yell and get them fired up, I promise you, it'll be just like the energy to New York City Marathon or London Marathon, which are known for that. And hopefully, this is the first step in Sydney, being part of this whole journey moving forward. And we're going to be the luckiest ones ever because we got to run in this race, the candidate race to flip to become the actual major, the 7th major. So lean on anything and everything you have. A couple of other tips, because I think it's really important. I've seen people write a mantra down on their hand, write it down on your forearm, write it on your wrist, write it somewhere visible, man, where you can look at it. Some words that are like, I am strong. Like my mantra for the podcast is stay in the fight. That's the theme of the show. My mom's 92 years old. She's had lymphoma 30 years, and she's just the toughest, feistiest little Irish lady on earth, man. Nothing can stop her. And I've always felt like her simple expressions in life about managing difficult things is put one foot in front of the other, get down the road. It's better to be up here than down there. Like, she just has such a simple way of looking at life, and she's handled like every channel. So for me, challenge, and for me, I just converted her story into mine and be like, stay in the fight. That is it. So you can't give up. You can give yourself permission to walk, to take a full hard stop, to take a break. Take your phone out, call your wife, your husband, somebody who might be able to pull you back and get you back on course, but you can't give up.
You want to hear my mantra? Well,
Yes.
One of my favorite mantras is kind of silly. I don't know why I'm volunteering this, but I remember a really difficult 10-miler that I did in Antwerp. And it was, I told myself as I was going up the hill in the tunnel, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And then I said, because I am Muhammad Ali, even though I'm not. But and I still use it because it got me up that hill, and I had a great time because of that, because I overcame it. But mantras are so wonderful, so helpful.
That is a great story, and they're powerful. And again, they don't have to get you to the finish. They just got to get you out of that hole that you're in. Because once you start moving again, and believe me, there's no shame in walking. Moving is what this is about. Moving and continuing to go forward is how you get to 42.2K. You can take a break, you can do whatever you need to do, but if you can do it, and if you can finish with such a high demographic of first-time users, I promise you, and Kelly knows this, it'll change your life. It will make you a different person.
Yeah, once you're a marathoner, you're always a marathoner. Nobody can take that away from you, for sure.
Yeah, God bless. Truer words never spoken. So, Kelly, what do you think your biggest challenge overcome has been?
Ron, I'm gonna see if you can guess what that would have been.
I want you to tell us, because you've had so many epic things, and Kelly was on my long form podcast, so hopefully if anybody out here is sitting here in these chairs, wants to tune into my podcast, subscribe and listen. I think I did an episode with James Constantine, the digital marketing manager, which was phenomenal. He did this incredible course guide, step by step, everything Sydney's done to get ready for this. We're up to 135 episodes, but Kelly and I did an episode. We got to be back like episode 50 or 60 or something. It's a while ago, but it was a fantastic episode, and we had more time to really talk through. But please tell us.
My biggest challenge is, has anybody out here run, I see Boston jacket. Has anybody run Boston 2018? So you get it. So Boston 2018 was the worst weather ever. And that was the year I was running all 6 majors in the same year. So I had no choice. I had to finish it. And about halfway through, I was so cold. Oh, and I thought I was very smart. I didn't need a jacket. I didn't need pants. I run in Brussels. Of course I could do it. No, even Des Linden wore a jacket, the winner of that marathon. I did not listen to the organizers, and I ran in my tank top, my singlet, and my shorts. Halfway through, I was shaking so much that my teeth were rattling, and that made my head shake. And it was like so hard just to keep my head steady during that race. Finished it about 45 minutes slower than I planned on, but finished it, got to the finishing line, and the woman who gave me my medal and put on my silver blanket said, "You need to go to the medical tent." And I did, and I had hypothermia. It was so hard, but I overcame that desire, that really burning need to stop and get warm, and just went through. And you know what? It was the people of Boston, once again, the crowd, the cheers, the people out there. It was harder for them. I was at least moving. They were standing there in the pouring, driving rain that didn't stop. It just got worse when you thought it couldn't get worse. And that was definitely my biggest challenge. Overcame it and finished all 6 that year.
That was the race of a lifetime, and I think I feel worse for the people who couldn't finish that day, because some of us who did stop maybe and got looked at were told they couldn't go on, or maybe their body temps were so low or dangerous, and they went in and got some soup or something, and the medical team just like wouldn't let them back out there. So I feel worse for those people. But you nailed it, Kelly. Like, being out there as a spouse or a volunteer on that day, God bless. I mean, that's why I always tell people, thank a volunteer, thank another volunteer, then thank another one, because we could never do this. I know when James and I had our chat the other day, over 3,000 people volunteered for this race, over 3,000, which was an increase, I think, of 200% over last year's race. So they're doing so much to produce like an amazing race for us, and we're just, we're the lucky ones. We get to run. We get to do the fun part. And then have our families and friends and volunteers and race organization and everybody just cheer for us. So good stuff. So Kelly, having completed the 6-star series 3 times, so think about that. You've gone around the world. You've run Tokyo 3 times, Boston 3 times, London 3 times, Berlin, Chicago, New York, but we've both run them way more than 3 times. So like the amount of air miles we've accumulated is completely insane. But the really cool thing about this and doing this journey multiple times is you see the same people. You see the same faces in the crowd. You do a shakeout run and you're going under the Harbor Bridge and people are yelling your name. You're like, who the hell is that? I have no idea who it is, but it's like somebody I met at a race somewhere, and just I'm older, so I can't remember names, but faces, yes, I always do. But I mean, that is the most insanely cool thing. But I want to know for you, because it's over many years, like you did 6 in 1 year, which I've done too, but how has your relationship with running changed over that period of time through this 3 journeys around the world and back 3 times again? How's your relationship with running changed?
I think when I run a marathon, I just realize that, it could be my last one. And so I just enjoy every single step. And any challenge that is there that day, I just look at it as making that marathon unique and special in its own way. So I would have to say that, I just appreciate every step now. Mm-hmm.
That's a great outlook, because I guarantee you, for the high demographic of first-time runners, there's nobody out there who's a first-time marathoner who's sitting there going, oh, I'm going to do 3 6-star journeys, or I'm going to do 82 marathons. No one ever thinks like that. When you're starting out, you're like, I'm going to do 1 and I'm done. I'm not doing another marathon. This is crazy. And then after you run it, somehow after you beat the living hell out of yourself and you somehow drag yourself across the line, you somehow decide this is a good idea, or it really wasn't as bad an idea as you thought, and whatever you overcame, cramps, pain, blisters, blood, then you're like, okay, you're on a race website, you're like, ding, 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 enter, paid, registered, race number 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Especially after a glass of wine.
Some people go to the mall and go shopping. We go on race sites and register and pay our hard-earned money to fly around the planet and fly 21, 24 hours, if you will, to do marathon majors. But
like
it's all
most
good.
people here have.
Oh yeah. Give it up for the Aussies, who literally have to fly the most insane distances to do any of the majors, not just this one. Like, we're complaining, or some people have complained. I'm not complaining. I was thrilled to get a chance to come here. I've never been to Australia, so just thrilled to be here in this insanely beautiful country. But for anybody complaining, I don't want to hear anything, man, because the Aussies have to go everywhere and rack up the crazy miles, and good for them. God bless.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, do you have any maybe a final message like to share. And thank you all people who are sitting and hanging with us.
Thank you.
So we're not just chatting to ourselves. We appreciate you. How about like a final message for people tomorrow about the race?
I would, first of all, just want to thank the Sydney Marathon crew for putting on an incredible just weekend for us. There's just so much that they've done for us. That everything is so well organized. I can't believe that this race only had about 3,000 participants 2 years ago, and now they are doing an impeccable job for a race of 25,000 people. Abbott is doing such a great job. They are treating the age group world championship participants like we're elite runners. And they always do, and they're so incredible, and I want to thank them. I heard another podcast, and your podcast was amazing, Ron. Has everybody here listened to Ron's podcast? Go to Run Chats, and Run Chats, he did a YouTube video, or on his podcast, you can hear it in audio. And he goes through with
James Constantine.
Yes, step by step the course. And I got out there and I looked at the map and I listened to all the advice, and it was so helpful. So I really, really recommend that you guys do that you listen to it, because it was very helpful. So anyway, I listened to another podcast, sorry Ron, and she's actually coming on at 10. That podcaster, and she said something really important, and it really stuck with me. And she said, just when you're out there and things are going tough, I mean, we're going to have wind. We're going to have wind tomorrow. I heard it was going to be a southerly wind, so I'm very happy about that, because it hopefully won't start until the second half, when we're on our way north to back up to the rocks, and so hopefully the wind won't affect us too much, but it's going to be tough. I mean, that last, I heard at 39.5 kilometers, we have quite a hill that we won't enjoy so much, but just remember your why, is what she said. She'll probably be up here at 10, she'll be sad that I used her quote, but maybe she'll be honored that I did. Remember your why. Why do you do this? Is it somebody that motivated you? Is it a hero of yours? Is it somebody that you lost that you're honoring? But I really think when you have to dig down deep, you do have to remember your why you're out there doing it, and that is what's going to carry you. That's what's going to get you to the Sydney Opera House, and you will have completed the Sydney Marathon.
Great stuff, Kelly. We're going to keep going for a little bit more. Fantastic advice, tips, etc. No question. That's why I spent so much time covering mantras and your thoughts and staying in the moment. You have to be present. The minute you start to get too far down the road, that's how you trip and roll your ankle. That's how you crash into somebody at the aid station. You want to just stay focused, be in that moment, be present, and don't forget. I find this so often with first-time runners when I talk to groups or host a shakeout run. They're so nervous about so many different things. When do I take my fuel? When do I drink? When do I do this? When do I do that? Don't ever forget to look around you and just be present in the moment. Look around as you're crossing over the freaking Harbor Bridge at sunrise. I mean, look around when we're running towards the iconic Sydney Opera House. This is once in a lifetime kind of feels. And it's super easy to get caught up with, oh, my Garmin, what pace am I on? Am I gonna finish this and that? Yes, I am all for going for PRs. I'm all for wanting to achieve your absolute personal best. But don't ever forget to take in everything that's happening around you, man. The other runners who are struggling, give them a pat on the back, man. Give them a high five, give them a fist bump, talk to them, tell them if they're walking, hey, are you okay, man? We all help each other out there. It's the one place in the world where the rest of the crap that's going on, wars, politics, everything, that doesn't happen. That doesn't exist on a marathon course, man. We're just all out there for each other, and we all have to support each other, because at the end of the day, when we finish, we all win.
Ron, I love what you said about looking at your watch, because I was running, I had a pacer friend, David, who ran with me for the Brussels Half Marathon probably like 8 to 10 years ago. And he was pacing me, and it was the last mile. And he said, don't look at your watch. And we ran, I've never run so hard. We ran so hard, I did not look at my watch. I just ran on those cobblestones, ran to the Grand Place, and I came in second place. And I'll tell you what, had I looked at my watch, I probably, because I was, third place was only a few seconds after me, just really just taking in the moment, just running as fast as I could and not looking at my watch. One day I really want to run a marathon without a watch and just really take it in because it's the best.
Yeah. I mean, in its purest form, when you were a kid, were you looking at a running watch when you were running around in the playground? No. When you were playing tag and chasing the fastest kid in the schoolyard, you weren't worrying about a watch, man. You were just like, I'm going to beat this kid in a race. I'm going to beat my sister, my brother, or whoever was the fastest or the person that you most looked up to. That's just the way we're wired. In runners, man, we're competitive. And it doesn't, when I say we're competitive, I don't care if you're finishing this marathon and you are the last one that crosses that line. You are just as competitive as me, as Kelly, and as every person in that elite field. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't be brave enough to put that bib on and get out there and run. So every single person, from the ones who walk the whole thing or part of it, to the fastest one who crosses first, we're all, at the end of the day, winners, man. We finished what we started, and we got the job done. So focus on that, and that medal's pretty badass for sure. Yeah, so we've been lucky enough to have some people with us, and we thank you for that. Does anybody have any questions about the race, about the course, something for me or Kelly that we might be able to help or answer? Because certainly like to take a question or two if somebody has them. Anyone?
Ron knows a lot about the course. Do you have a question? Yeah, come on up.
Yes.
Come on up.
Here we go. Beautiful. Thanks, Nick. There we go. Oh.
Every state. My question is, this race has a lot of hills. Do you have a very good water system? Water stations?
So you're asking about the water stations on the course? Yeah, actually, I think Nick can do a way better job at that. Let's pull Nick in.
We'll have Nick come up to the stage. But also, sir, will you come up? And I just want everybody to see this guy has run a marathon in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. That is amazing.
Thank you very much. But such is an honor to run Sydney Marathon because this is my 7th continent.
Oh,
and that's the reason I especially come all over 15-hour flights and run Sydney Marathon. I'm really excited because I'm ready for.
You are
yes.
into this for sure.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Awesome.
50 states, 7 continents. What's next?
Next, maybe we started country to country.
Country to country. I like it.
Love it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we can answer the question about the water stations.
Yeah.
We have a comprehensive plan for water stations. Make sure like any race, make sure you do it. And it really, every 5 kilometres there's a new water station. You actually fix electrolytes and fuel them. So you make sure.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nick. Anybody else? Questions? Anybody? Don't be shy.
I want to hear mantras. Does anybody want to share their mantras? Because I'm out of mantras. If I say float like a butterfly, is that a question or a mantra?
Mantra.
Okay.
Keep going. That's it.
I love it. Keep going. Yep.
Simple
Keep it
works.
Simple, stupid.
Yeah, definitely works.
Love it. Keep going. Okay. So I'd like to keep going. Does anybody else have any mantras? Does anybody else want to share their most difficult marathon story? I don't blame you.
It's okay. Listen,
I'm only up here because Ron made me. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, it's all good. We appreciate your time and sharing, listening to Kelly's story, being here and part of it for us. And again, we got another one. Hang on.
Yay.
Hi, I'm not a runner, but I'm teaching you a runner. What is your advice? love to start running. I haven't. My husband is running tomorrow. That's why I'm here. I'm Kelly. But how can I start running?
How can you start is, I think I have a lot of experience with this because I've been doing this 35 years. I think probably there's the positive way and the negative way to approach the question. The most common mistakes everyone makes when starting is it's like they put too much food on their plate and think, I have to finish all this, I have to eat everything, my mom made this for me, my dad made it. And then right away they get over their head and it's like overwhelming. I tell people all the time, if you're gonna go on a treadmill to start running, put it on 1 mile an hour, put it on 2 miles an hour, so slow that you're just walking, you're not even running, and just start there, and then a couple of minutes walking, a couple of minutes running, a couple of minutes walking, running. Of course, I advocate running outside because I just love being outside in any weather, wind, rain, snow, heat, humidity. It's a blessing to be outside and run in the elements, but when you're starting, you have to be super patient and just give your body time to get used to it. Don't try to do too much too soon. A couple of days a week, maybe run on a Monday, take 2 days off, run on a Thursday, take 2 more days off. You know, just very short-term, small goals, run, walk, build up patiently. Make sure you go to a running store and get fitted for a really good pair of shoes so they fit your feet. Everything works well there. And you know, follow my page. Let us know how you're doing, man. I'd love to hear more if you get started and keep going because you got your husband to work with and you guys can enjoy racing together.
Naomi, I'm so excited to start running with you. We're gonna have so much fun. And I would have to say, join a running group. Running groups are incredible. The running community is just a great community to be in. You have so much fun. You go out there, you go for a run, you're with people. They usually have different pace groups. Afterwards, you go get a coffee or a beer. When you have issues, when you have to, you know, usually when you're starting running, little things happen. They have great doctors and physios to let you know about. If you don't have a running community where you are, all you need is a running friend. And really, just having somebody to do it with and making it part of your social life is the great way to make running just fun.
Great stuff.
There's some great points there, Kelly. I definitely enjoy running groups, running for the beer, but I've got a question. You think Naomi and her husband should run together?
Yeah. Imagine that.
That's when we know how couples are really getting along. It's like, get the husband out of the house, get the wife out of the house. But that's where Kelly's advice saves the marriage because you can just be in different running clubs or different groups. It could be a mom group or a dad group or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we just do better together. We all do. And you know, I just want to say personally to Nick and the ambassador team, you know, obviously I've been working with James quite a bit, James Constantine and so many other people that have been so involved with this. I had Wayne Larden on my podcast, the race director. I mean, you just feel how much effort, how much work these people have put into, how much pride is on the line for them to get this race. And for me, it's just been the pleasure of a lifetime to help in any way, to have those conversations with James, to have Nick ask me to come and host a chat with Kelly. Anything that I can do through my channels or my reach, it's just an amazing race. And I just see this thing being a place where everyone is going to want to come. This is not going to be, okay, I'm going to run Sydney once. Forget that. Come to Sydney every year. I mean, how could you not want to come to this place?
Coming every year.
Yeah, absolutely. So hats off to TCS, ASICS, and then obviously the internal teams that Nick and James and everybody, the 3,000 plus volunteers are part of, and obviously Avid World Marathon Majors for being here to supervise everything that's going on, hopefully to give them the golden blessing in November so it all comes down. So anyway, thank you all for being part of our chat. You made it so much fun. Kelly, you rock. You know that already.
So do you, Ron.
And everybody out there tomorrow, get it done, man. Just get it done. I don't care how. Just figure it out, man. Get across that line, get that medal.
Keep going.
And we got a party at the Four Seasons, so make sure you all show up. Just show up. Tell them you know Nick.
Party at Ron's Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just show up in my room. They'll let you upstairs. Don't even worry about it. You know, it's all good. But anyway, thank you all again. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Cheers.